Right friends, welcome back to Q&A. 20 questions we have taken. Some of them you may feel easy, but let us go fast. First one is participatory notes are into the news quite frequently. Participatory notes, rules and regulations are being tightened by SEBI, but here you see which of the following is incorrect statements. The first statement, participatory notes can be issued by foreign portfolio investors to investors outside India. These are issued by foreign portfolio investors to the investors outside India. One very important aspect is NRIs and resident Indians are barred from subscribing to these P notes. NRIs and resident Indians are barred from subscribing to these P notes, and participatory notes can be drawn. Participatory notes can be issued by foreign portfolio investors for stocks as well as debt instruments as well as derivatives. Please understand, for all types of these instruments like stocks, debt instruments, derivatives, this participatory notes can be issued. These are also known as offshore derivative instruments. The other name for participatory notes is offshore derivative instruments. They derive their value because of some underlying asset. That is why they are known as derivative instruments. Participatory notes can be transferred outside India. This is one biggest problem because of which black money India is not able to control. So, second is wrong. It is allowed for stocks, debt instruments and derivatives. Secular stagnation, last week in editorial discussion I discussed secular stagnation is into the news, and look at the following sentences. It normally refers to negligible or no economic growth in a market based economy. In a market based economy, when the growth is negligible or no economic growth, then it is secular stagnation, but it has to satisfy certain other aspects also. Percentage of savings are likely to start exceeding the percentage of long term investments. So, here when percentage of savings are more than long term investments, so when long term investments are there, then capital assets will be created, capital stock will be created, future generations will be benefited. When grey population is more, demand will be less and people will be bent upon saving the money instead of investments. So, under those circumstances, this secular stagnation may occur, and in terms of secular stagnation, conventional monetary policies will become ineffective. Conventional monetary policies will become ineffective. That is why the world economies are looking at alternatives like zero interest rate policy, negative interest rate policy, at the same time quantitative easing. All these people are thinking about, because growth is not up to the mark. All three. Look at the next one. The limit for outstanding securities under market stabilization scheme. Here what is meant by market stabilization scheme? When excess liquidity is there in the market, special bonds can be issued, the money can be sucked by issuing special bonds, and that money is to be kept in separate account, and that cannot be used by the central government. Right. So, this is about market stabilization scheme. The first one is correct and this is wrong because government cannot utilize this money. Right. So, market stabilization scheme is the scheme to suck excess liquidity. Look at the following with regard to hyperloop technologies. Just now I told you principle of hyperloop is propelling passengers in pods through reduced pressure steel tubes. Second point, please understand, that is why I included this question. How this functions, how hyperloop functions? Hyperloop functions because of drastic reduction of air in the tube. Because of drastic reduction of air in the tube, the motion is achieved with close to zero friction. The motion is allowed achieved close to zero friction, allowing the passengers to safely accelerate to airplane speeds. Friction is less because inside the tubes this air is reduced in the tube. So, this is the principle of hyperloop. Right. Next one is index of industrial production. The base year is 2004-05. For IIP, the base year is 2004-05, and look at the following categories. Which of the above two categories have higher weightages? If you look at higher weightages, here basic goods and consumer goods. Basic goods and consumer goods have got higher weightage, and please go through index of industrial production carefully. It constitutes manufacturing around 75%, mining around 14% or so, and electricity around 10%, and number of items taken under manufacturing as well as mining, they are also very important, and the bifurcation of the items like basic goods, capital goods, intermediate goods, consumer goods, you should have clear idea about it, because in examination sometimes these type of questions will be asked. India gold coin, please look into the following sentences. Three things are evergreen: India gold coin scheme, then the second point is gold bond scheme, then gold monetization scheme. These three things very important. And here India gold coin scheme, gold coins will have the national emblem of Ashok Chakra on one side, Mahatma Gandhi on the other side. The coin is the first ever national gold coin, and NMDC is the nodal authority. This is MMTC is the nodal authority for printing and minting and authority of gold coins. So, the third one is wrong, 1 and 2 is correct. Look at the next one, National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme. This is intended for skill development to the younger generation through apprenticeship program, and here the government of India is bearing part of the cost, 50% of the total cost of the training, basically to promote apprenticeship. When apprenticeship is promoted, what happens? The skills will be developed. With that in intention, government is bearing 50% of total cost of the apprenticeship training, and at the same time central government will also bear 25% of the stipend also. These things very important. So, all 1, 2, 3 is correct. 50% of total cost government is bearing, 25% of stipend government is bearing. This is National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme. Next one is Income Declaration Scheme 2016. Three things please do not forget from examination perspective. The first one is black money window was given after the conclusion of Black Money Act to unearth the undisclosed properties abroad. So, as to look at undisclosed properties abroad, Black Money Act was brought. As per Black Money Act, total money to be paid to the government comes to 30% plus 30%, 60%, and this was Income Declaration Scheme of 2016, and this was to declare undisclosed income. Here the tax structure I have given here, this total comes to 45%. So, both 1 and 2 correct, and three things please do not forget from examination perspective: black money window, second one is income declaration scheme, third one is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. These things very important. Look at the following organizations: Mudra Bank, NHB, DICGC. When you look at Reserve Bank of India, three are subsidiaries. What are the three subsidiaries? DICGC, Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation. This looks at insurance needs of the bank customers. Second one is National Housing Bank. This is housing regulator. Third one is Note Mudran Private Limited, Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, which prints currency notes. So, these three are fully owned subsidiaries of Reserve Bank of India. Mudra Bank is not subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India. Mudra Bank is a subsidiary of SIDB, if I am not wrong. So, here 2 and 3. Look at the next one. Asian Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction was held in New Delhi. Which of the following looks at disaster risk reduction? That is the Sendai framework. Identify the incorrect one. Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. TPP is a free trade agreement of 12 Pacific Rim countries, and now United States of America pulled out of TPP. Then RCEP. RCEP is the proposed trade agreement. It is yet to be concluded. There are 16 countries, 10 ASEAN countries, 6 its partner countries. India is also one among them. So, RCEP is basically piloted by China. Then CETA. CETA was the agreement recently concluded between European Union and Canada. This is the free trade agreement between European Union and Canada. Then BTIP, broad based trade and investment partnership. This is the proposed trade agreement between European Union and India. For the past 10 years, it is hanging fire. It is not able to be concluded. So, broad based trade and investment partnership, this is the proposed agreement between India and European Union. Please understand. Then look at the following, very simple question. Bitharkanika Gahirmata, this Bitharkanika Gahirmata, these were into the news in recent times because of olive ridley turtles, Wheeler Island. These three are situated in Odisha, you should not forget. Then the pay and allowances of central government employees as well as pensioners are adjusted for inflation once in 6 months. Here please understand the difference. Pay commission is constituted to revise pay and allowances of central government employees and pensioners once in 10 years. Pay commission is constituted once in 10 years, but for inflation the salaries are adjusted and pensions are adjusted for inflation once in 6 months, and it is based on consumer price index for industrial workers. CPI IW means consumer price index for industrial workers. If I am not wrong, these three are released by Labour Bureau. CPI AL means CPI for agricultural labourers, CPI for rural labourers. So, these three indices are released by Labour Bureau. So, CPI IW is the basis on which every 6 months central government employees' salaries are adjusted for inflation. Recently, government released ease of doing business rankings for states or UTs. In this connection, read the following sentences. This ease of doing business index, this is being released, and this became competition among the states, and World Bank, who are associated with this, World Bank as well as DIPP, Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, which notifies FDI rules. These two are involved in the process of reviewing the evidence submitted by the states or UTs for implementation of reforms, and the ranking is based on 340-point business reform action plan. States are supposed to implement business reform action plan, and the ranking is based on business reform action plan undertaken by the states. DIPP is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So, this is wrong, 1 and 2 is correct. So, please go meticulously with regard to this ease of doing business index, right. Look at the following with regard to Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. CACP is quite frequently into the news. It is an attached office to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. It is correct. Recommendation, it recommends minimum support prices. Minimum support prices are recommended basically to incentivize the cultivators to adapt modern technology, productivity as well as overall grain production, and CCEA, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, headed by the Prime Minister, takes the final decision based on the recommendations of CACP. All three are correct. So, CACP and one organization we discussed some time back, and these things do not forget. Then, which of the following is Central Counter Terrorism Law Enforcement Agency? Here, three things please do not forget. One is a Serious Fraud Investigation Office. What is it? Serious Fraud Investigation Office is the organization which looks at white collar crimes, white collar corporate frauds is looked after by Serious Fraud Investigation Office. Financial Intelligence Unit, this is under the Ministry of Finance. This looks at suspicious financial transactions. When somebody is depositing 1 crore rupees by cash, that is suspicious financial transaction that looked after by Financial Intelligence Unit, but National Investigation Agency is the agency Central Counter Terrorism Law Enforcement Agency. This is under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So, here this is the answer. Look at the following organizations. In which of the above organizations India is member? CCA MLR, we just now discussed about the ROS CSU, CCA MLR, BIMSTEC, these two organizations India is member. So, 1 and 4, India is not member of OECD as well as APEC countries, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. Hedge funds are frequently in the news. Quite often you hear about hedge funds, mutual funds, alternative investment funds, real estate investment trusts, infrastructure investment trusts. So, you should have clear idea about them. Let us look at hedge funds. Hedge funds are aggressively managed portfolio of large investments, absolutely correct. These are aggressively managed portfolio of large investments, and these are meant for high net worth individuals, not for retail investors. They are meant for high net worth individuals who can take risks. They want high returns, and at the same time they are ready to face high risk also. They are ready to take high risk also. They are part of mutual funds, absolutely wrong. So, 1 is correct. This is aggressively managed portfolio of large investments. BRBNMPL, Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, is the wholly owned subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India, absolutely correct, and prints currency notes at Mysore and Salboni in West Bengal. Because of demonetization, certain things do not forget. A question, 1 or 2 questions are expected subsequent to demonetization on financial issues like legal currency, who gives guarantee and who promises to pay the bearer, and at the same time where the printing presses are, which are under which ministry, then what is meant by fiat currency. These things you should not forget. Then Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited is under the Ministry of Finance and prints currency notes at Nashik and Devas. First one is correct. So, please do not forget, Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited is fully owned subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India and prints currency notes at Mysore and Salboni, right. Nowadays, we hear about legal tender frequently. After demonetization, this assumed significance. Look at the following sentences. RBI Act of 1934 gives the central bank, that means the central bank has got the sole right to issue bank notes up to the denomination of rupees 10,000. So, here Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 gives the power to issue bank notes up to the denominations of rupees 10,000. This is correct. Second one is currency notes are unlimited legal tender and can be offered as payment for dues of any size. Please understand, this currency notes are unlimited legal tender, whereas coins can be restricted. If you are paying rupees 1 lakh entirely in 50 paise coins, he can refuse. Coins are not unlimited legal tender, whereas currency notes are unlimited legal tender and can be offered as payment for dues of any size. And previous demonetization of coins, here demonetization of coins, not currency, demonetization of coins took place in 2011 and 25 paise coins were taken out of circulation. So, all 3 are correct. So, you should have clear idea about various terminology pertaining to this after demonetization, right friends. We concluded 20 questions. So, please do join every day at 11 o'clock, 11:30 a.m. and current affairs will come to you in new format. They will be straight away uploaded. Right friends, have a nice day. Thank you.